Imagine stepping out of a spacecraft onto the surface of Kepler 186f, the first Earth-sized exoplanet ever discovered in its star's habitable zone. At first glance, the world might look strangely familiar. Blue skies, a red-tinged sun above, and landscapes stretching into the horizon. But every step you take reminds you that this is not Earth. This is a planet orbiting a red dwarf star, 500 light-years away, and its reality is as alien as it is fascinating. The first thing you would notice is the light. Kepler 186f orbits a cooler, dimmer star than our Sun. The daylight would appear softer, tinted red-orange, like an endless sunset spreading across the sky. Colors would look different. Grass, if anything like it exists here, would not be green, but possibly black or dark red, evolved to absorb as much energy as possible from the faint sunlight. NASA scientists studying photosynthesis under red light have suggested that alien plants might adapt in ways unimaginable to us, creating forests of shadowy vegetation that look more like crimson carpets than the green canopies of Earth. Gravity on Kepler 186f would also play tricks on your body. Estimates suggest it could be up to 10% stronger than Earth's, depending on the planet's composition. You would feel heavier, as if carrying an invisible weight. Walking would tire you more quickly, and every jump would fall short. Even your heartbeat would work harder, pushing blood through a body that suddenly feels anchored more firmly to the ground. For a trained astronaut, this is survivable, but long-term, human bodies might struggle to adapt. As you explore, you would find yourself surrounded by silence. There are no birds, no buzzing insects, no familiar sounds of earthly life. If Kepler 186f holds life, it would be completely alien, evolved under the dim glow of a red dwarf star. Perhaps strange microbial mats cling to rocks near shallow pools, or hardy organisms burrow underground to escape stellar flares. NASA's habitability models warn that red dwarf stars can unleash violent radiation storms, potentially stripping atmospheres or blasting the surface. If Kepler 186f still has its atmosphere, it must be thick enough to shield the ground from deadly radiation. Breathing here, however, would not be possible for humans. The air composition, if oxygen exists at all, would likely differ dramatically. Without a suit, a human would suffocate within minutes. Looking up, the sky would feel uncanny. The red dwarf star would appear larger than the sun in Earth's sky, glowing with a ruddy hue. Days might last longer, with shadows stretching endlessly. Nights would be darker than anything you have ever known, lit only by faint stars and perhaps the glimmer of neighboring planets or moons. Astronomers speculate that Kepler 186f might even be tidally locked, with one side always facing its star, while the other remains in eternal night. If you landed near the boundary between day and night, the twilight zone, you might see a permanent horizon of half-light, where strange ecosystems could thrive in balance. NASA experiments with exoplanet climate simulations suggest that if Kepler 186f has oceans, they could play a vital role in spreading heat, preventing the world from freezing solid on one side and burning on the other. Walking along such an alien sea would be breathtaking. The water might shimmer with a reddish tint, reflecting the strange sunlight. If life exists in these oceans, it could be unlike anything on Earth, creatures shaped by pressure, radiation, and the faint warmth of a dim star. But perhaps the most haunting part of standing on Kepler 186f would be the realization that you are 500 light-years from home. The Earth would be invisible to the naked eye, just another tiny dot lost among billions. Every sound you make echoes across an alien silence. Every step marks ground never walked by human feet. You would feel both impossibly small and unimaginably significant, a single human standing on a distant world. For NASA and other space agencies, Kepler 186f is more than just a scientific curiosity. It is a symbol of possibility. It shows that Earth-like planets are not rare, that worlds in the habitable zones of stars exist, waiting to be studied. If humanity ever builds the technology to travel across the stars, Kepler 186f would be among the first destinations on the list. For now, though, it remains a distant dream, a faint signal captured by telescopes, a reminder that the universe is vast and full of potential homes. So what if you landed on Kepler 186f? You would see a sky painted red, walk across landscapes shaped by alien physics, and perhaps glimpse life born under another sun. You would struggle, you would gasp for air, you would marvel at the strangeness of every moment. But above all, you would understand that Earth is not the only place where life could thrive, and that the universe is far more alive than we ever imagined.